Hello, friends. It's Jim Nantz from CBS Sports over in America. I hope you'll enjoy listening to my favorite podcast in the UK, Bunkered. It's our Masters preview, and that's coming up next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of the Bunkered podcast in association with Callaway Golf and Michael McEwen. It is Masters preview time. It's the episode that I look forward to more than any other episode every single year. It's that time. Azaleas, dogwoods, peach ice cream sandwiches, pimento cheese sandwiches, all of the above, plus lots and lots of great golf thrown into. Jim Nantz, by the way, how good was that? Jim Nantz providing the intro to the show. Big thanks to him. He's also a fan of the show, I should add. He wasn't making that up when he was talking about how much he enjoys it. So thanks, Jim. Hope you're listening. Have a great week at Augusta next week. There is so much that we need to get through on this episode, so I'm going to dive straight in. No more nonsense from me. I'm going to bring in my two co-hosts. Gear editor, James Tate. Performance editor, Lewis Fraser. Gentlemen, hello. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you both
Hello.
doing? You good?
Doing very well, Michael, yes.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. You can probably tell I'm quite excited for the Masters. It is the tournament I look forward to the most. The Open's great. The Ryder Cup's brilliant. The Masters is a bit special. So my energy levels are up. My excitement levels are through the roof. Lewis, scale of 1 to 10. How are you feeling about the Masters?
At the moment, we're like a solid 9, but
Solid 9, okay.
Yeah, next week it'll be a 10 for sure.
Not an 11.
No. Well, it's 1 to 10, so it can't
Don't
be 11.
get too carried away.
No, nah, never.
Somebody hasn't seen Spinal Tap, evidently. James, how about you? How are your energy levels?
25 out of 10,
Oh.
Michael. Absolutely buzzing. Can't wait. Yes, it's my favorite major. It's just, yeah, it's absolutely love it. Every single time it comes around each year, just can't wait to watch it on telly. And I'm sure you're exactly the same.
I am.
But you're going to be there, aren't you?
Yeah, funny you should mention that. So this is going to be my 5th time going to the Masters. It's always special. It's always a privilege. It's always fun. I fly out on Sunday, so by the time you're watching this, I will. Hopefully my plane lands in one piece, but by the time you're listening to this, I'll be on the ground. I will be there, just getting down to business, really. And there is a lot of business to be done next week.
Indeed.
So just for everyone's benefit, before we go any further, I'm sure you're wondering, will there be daily commutes from the Bunkered podcast from the Masters when we're there? The answer is yes. We will have special episodes, those 20, 30-minute episodes of the show. They will be happening every day, recorded live from the press building on the property. We'll also be covering the event, full comprehensive coverage on our website, bunkered.co.uk. Better yet, go and bookmark our Masters Hub. That's linked on the homepage. You'll get all of the news you need as it happens, sometimes before it's even happened. That's how good we are at covering the event. You'll get opinions, you'll get tea times, you'll get weather forecasts, you'll get bookies guides, you'll get a hole-by-hole guide, you will get everything. You might even get some thoughts on Angel Cabrera. More on him later on. So tons to be had on the Bunkered website next week. If you want to make sure you don't miss anything, sign up for our daily newsletter. That's available to sign up for on the website. You will receive in your inbox every morning in time for breakfast a bulletin of all the latest news and goings on from the Masters, both in the build-up to it and during the tournament itself. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really busy. Lots happening. I cannot wait to get there. It's exciting for me as well, gents, because I think we talked about this in the office earlier this week. April the 1st was the 21st anniversary of my first day at Bunkered.
Yep.
Lewis, how old were you at that time?
So what year, sorry?
2004 it was. April 1st, 2004.
Would have been 5 years old.
Great to know, James.
Numbers is not my strong suit, Michael. I'm doing the maths.
Single figures anyway.
No,
You would have been double figures then.
No, I would have been double figures. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Okay, well, I'm only 35, so it wouldn't have been...
All right, okay, not too bad. In your teens.
Yeah.
Nothing like this guy.
No.
No.
I didn't know what was going on back then, did I?
No.
No.
Still
so
don't.
That
Still getting your
first
nappy changed,
year-
probably.
you're Lewis. So that
I know
first
I'm a
year-
little bit slow.
I'd been at Bunkered for 2 weeks when Phil Mickelson won his first ever major championship,
Wow, there you
which
go.
was pretty cool. I remember actually speaking to the guys in the office, and I was determined to try and impress them with my knowledge. So when they said to me, "Who's going to win the Masters then, Michael?" And I thought, well, I'm going to say Phil Mickelson because he was one of the bookies' favourites.
Mhm.
I didn't want to say Tiger Woods because that's the obvious answer.
Yeah.
You can't really show off by giving the answer Tiger Woods.
Mhm.
And everyone seemed really impressed when I said Mickelson. They're like, "Oh, right, yeah, I would say he's got a good chance. Brilliant." So I was feeling quite cocky and quite proud of myself and thinking, I know nothing about the tour whatsoever. And I've just really impressed them. So you know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to go one step further. So a bit like David Brent in that episode of The Office when he finds the guy that he's in competition with about the quiz.
Yes.
And they have that conversation about Dostoevsky. It's like, you know how we were talking about Dostoevsky earlier, born 18. So that was kind of me. And I remember wandering over to the guys in the canteen. It was so embarrassing. But I said, "Do you remember how we were talking earlier about who's going to win the Masters?" And they're going, "Yeah, yeah." And I said, "Phil Mickelson." Like, yeah, great shout. But do you know who I think would be a good each way bet or a bit of a dark horse?
Here he is. Go
They're
on.
like, "Yeah, okay." And I was so chuffed with myself because I'd looked at the world rankings and this guy was like 200 and something.
Who
but I
is this
recognised
going
the
to
name.
be? I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, I'm intrigued too.
They looked at me and were like, "So who is it?" And I went, Harrison Fraser. There you go. That look of incredulity is like, who's Harrison Fraser? He was outside the world's top 100 at the time or whatever, but they obviously knew what was going on and thought we're not going to show him up.
Yeah.
So they just nodded along.
Probably, aye, all right. Yeah, very good.
Harrison Fraser was so much of a long shot, he wasn't even in the field.
Oh, for God's sake.
How
He
to
wasn't
make a
even
good
there.
impression and then completely shatter it.
Yes.
Quit while you're ahead. Is what
Yeah,
you're
you should
saying.
have just stuck
Should've-
with the
should've
Mickelson
done.
shout, shouldn't you?
Yeah, that was a good shout.
It was a good show.
Yeah, very
Great
good.
shout.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks. It's not gone particularly well ever since then, and anytime I've tried to make money to it. Anyway, gents, as I said, we have a lot that we need to get
Yes, we do.
through, lots to discuss. So I'm going to kick us straight off with the big question coming up right after this from Callaway.
The Bunkered Podcast, brought to you by the new Elite Driver from Callaway.
Okay, gentlemen, the big question this week, and it is the only question, I think, is this going to be the year that Rory McIlroy wins the Masters? James, come to you first. What do
Yeah.
you think?
I bloody hope so. Yeah. I think, look, he's got everything going for him. He's already won twice this year at the Players and at Pebble Beach. And to be honest, the way he's playing and conducting himself, he's got, so much confidence. And he's first in strokes gained. He's pretty good at scrambling and getting up and down as well. His irons, as we know, Rory McIlroy, when he's on, he's hard to beat. There's no one that's going to touch him. But the only guy that could do that would be, in my opinion, Scotty Scheffler.
So if Rory finishes ahead of Scotty Scheffler,
He
he's gonna win
wins.
the Masters.
Yeah.
Okay. Lewis, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah.
Is this the year?
I think it is. I think he's going to win one eventually, and I think right now is the time. Like, he's playing the best golf that he's played in recent memory. I think you look at his results recently. He's won twice, as James mentioned there. Won the Players probably without actually playing his best that week. Look at the last 3 rounds in his preparation. He's 3 rounds in the mid-60s. Just everything seems to be firing for him at the moment. I do think that, I think everything is aligning for him to win, which seems mad to say with everything that's happened with Rory at Augusta National, but I honestly think he's so well suited to the golf course that he's going to win at Augusta eventually, and right now seems like the perfect time.
Haven't we been here before though?
We
Because
have,
we're
yes.
talking up the fact
I
that
know.
Rory's on form, he's playing well, he's won coming into the tournament, and that all the stars appear to be aligning.
Mhm.
We have been here before with him though, so what's different about this time, Lewis?
Good question. I think James mentioned it, that Scotty Scheffler seems to be sort of one of the only players who can really match Rory when he's at his best. And I do think that if Rory just seems to have a bit of a different mindset at the moment. He's won twice, which is big, 2 huge events as well. I really do think that what is different is there's a bit of Rory's playing better and seems to have his game more under control, but also seems like he doesn't have, obviously has a lot of people to beat, but I think he's vastly better than a lot of those players. when he's on his game, and he is right now.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Mentally, that's always been the real challenge for Rory at Augusta as well,
Yeah.
James, hasn't it? Because of the scar tissue of 2011 and then
Mhm.
subsequently knowing what a win there would mean. It's the final piece of the jigsaw, as we all know, for the career Grand Slam and the history,
Mhm.
I guess the golf immortality that comes with that. So mentally, that's been an obstacle for him to overcome. The game seems to be in good shape. The issues that he's had from the middle of the fairway appear to have gone. Wedges have improved no end over the last year.
Yeah.
Driving, he's talking about struggling with it, but it's a relative struggle because it's still a massive strength of
Yeah.
his. Mentally, though, do you think he's better equipped now to finally get over the line?
I think so. I think, like I said earlier, like the way he's conducting himself and carrying himself, and you can see it when he's playing. He has this expectation from himself, and I think, you know, with those 2 wins that he's already had, and I'm going to go back to that, like at the Players and what he did, and like Lewis said, he wasn't at his best, but the way he managed everything to get that over the line and win was incredibly impressive. I think if he goes in with that same kind of mentality into the Masters, obviously, yes, 2011, it's always going to be in the back of his head. It's going to be his kryptonite, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think when he does maybe have like a little wobble or a bad shot, I think he needs to realize, I'm like, right, take the experience of what's happened before. He's got bags of it. He knows what to do. And with the form he's in, I just think he will overcome the obstacles that he's going to face at Augusta.
Yeah, it's decision making's better as well, I
100%.
think, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
Lewis, how many times have we spoken in the office about the fact that Rory's his own worst enemy? He gets into position, and then if there's a percentage shot to play versus what I would call a Kodak shot,
Yeah.
he's always going to play the Kodak shot, isn't he?
Mhm.
Because he's Rory McIlroy. He's one of the best, if not the best players in the world right now.
Mhm.
It's almost like he feels, it seems to me at times he feels the need to perform, to put on a bit of a show.
Mhm.
But in actual fact, as Nick Faldo once said to me, boring golf is winning golf.
Boring golf absolutely is winning golf, but I think Rory has a good mix at the moment, sort of confidence in his game that he deep down knows that if he plays his best, he's going to win. But there is that, he's probably matured quite a lot recently, I would say, in terms of the shots that he's trying to play. We saw it at the Players, we discussed it quite a bit at length about picking the right shot and looking around at conditions. If it's windy, depending on what the shot needs, he's probably not going at every pin. Like you look at 17th at Sawgrass
yeah,
in
good
the
example.
playoff, you know, where Rory of old might have just gone straight at that pin and thought,
Yeah.
if I make a 2 here, then we're done. Whereas he's aimed at the middle of the green, hit a good shot, and finished things off that way. So small things like that make a big difference, especially around Augusta National. But yeah, just there's one thing that slightly worries me
No, go on.
about it, and there's a weird comment he made about his elbow, and I know
About this supposed injury that
Yeah,
he's carrying.
well,
I know, where's this come from?
it's very
Yeah,
strange.
I
He-
smell something, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I don't believe that he has any issue with his elbow at all. And if he does, then it's clearly not bothering him that much
Yeah,
because he
Yeah.
played really well before talking about this. But yeah, the mental side of things, I just think, why have you said that? Is it a legit concern that he has about his elbow, or is he saying this to try and like dampen sort of expectations? If he's done
Yeah.
that, then it's not going to work, I'm afraid, because still people
Expectations will
expect
still
it.
be high.
Yeah, regardless. Yeah.
I mean, it could be a really clever bluff.
Yeah.
I don't know,
It could be
James.
it could be a double-edged sword as well. He could talk himself. Like if he starts
Yeah.
playing bad,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, my elbow is just absolutely killing me.
A self-fulfilling
Yeah,
prophecy,
exactly. It's like, what are you doing? But no, I think, listen, like if he has got a slight niggle, I mean, it's definitely not causing him any issues. So, and you can see that from the way he's playing. But yeah, I think if there is an issue, it's in his head. Like, I would say.
I mean, yeah.
What do you think?
I was
What's your
stunned
kind of
by
take
it.
on
I didn't. I was listening to that post-round interview. It was after the Texas Children's Houston Open, which I cannot say without hearing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme tune in my head.
Easy for you to say.
Texas Children's Houston Open. I mean, that's.
I've never thought of it like that.
And now you will only
now
ever
I'll
hear
never
that.
hear
by
it
the
any
way.
different. You're right.
But yeah, I was listening to that interview,
Good
and
jingle.
that just came out of absolutely nowhere.
Mhm.
It's very left field, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I've been battling an elbow problem.
Yeah.
You're going, what? So my first instinct is that it seems like it's a little bit of a bluff, an attempt to downplay expectations. I'm with you, Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work.
No, it's not.
No.
You can tell me that Rory McIlroy has, frankly, ruptured his Achilles tendon and intends to play, and I will still have hopes that he's going to win the Masters. So I think we're past the point of expectations being in any way manageable when he shows up at Augusta. My concern is that if he doesn't get it done this year, considering not just how well he started this year, but the tremendous form he's shown the tail end of last year, I mean, a poor performance from Rory at the Masters would be completely out of the blue, considering how well he's been playing for 6-7 months now. So if he doesn't get it done this time around, considering all of the stars aligning, my fear is he's never going to get it done.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Now or
just
never.
Now or
almost.
never,
Almost, yeah. I mean, what more does he possibly want or need to get the job done? You know, it's. I did say we've been here before, but this does feel somewhat different. He looks more relaxed. He looks more in control. When he was playing well going into Masters previously, I'm thinking of, even a couple of years ago, there was noise, there was baggage. He was involved in stuff outside of golf. He's not involved in any of the live stuff. He's not involved in any of the PGA stuff, it seems, anymore. He's keeping his powder relatively dry by his own standards. I guess what I'm saying is the way that Rory's prepared for this Masters is exactly how I would have chosen for him to prepare for it. If you'd asked me in August, write down a list of things he needs to do. He's pretty much ticked all those boxes. So maybe now or never. Is it a bit over the top? Maybe, but that's what both my head and heart are telling me just now.
We're all in agreement then.
Yeah, I was
Sunday night.
Oh no!
It'll be heartbreaking if he doesn't do it.
It will be.
If he doesn't do it, I'll be like with you with what you said. I think it's a make or break kind of thing for him to win the Masters this year.
Plenty time to discuss what happens next if he doesn't actually get it done. Lewis, one more thing on Rory before we move on to the other storylines that are around. There's obviously no secret that his caddy, Harry Diamond, comes in for a bit of flack. I think people have expectations of Harry. I've spoken about that subject plenty on the pod over the years. To what extent do you think Harry's going to be important for Rory next week, and what do you think he needs to do to help him cross that line?
Yeah, he's massively important. I think I've seen it recently with Fitzpatrick and Homa, moving on from the caddies. If that's not working, then it's something that can bother a golfer. So I do think it's very important. And if Rory's in contention, then I think Harry is, in moments like that, is actually the right person to say to him, okay, knows what to say and when to say it and what to not say. So what does he need to do? He probably just needs to keep Rory's mind on, it's such a cliche, but keep his mind on the shot in front of him. Don't let him get carried away. Yeah, one shot at a time. Don't let him get carried away with what might happen if he is, say, he's in contention on Sunday, and just give him the right club. Don't make any cock-ups and numbers or anything, which I'm sure Harry Diamond wouldn't do, and just keep his mind in the present as much as possible. It's not easy because Rory's the one hitting the shots, so he's got to play his part. But yeah, Harry's so important to that.
Yeah, would agree with that. And James, we spoke about Rory's scar tissue at Augusta, but he's got good memories as well. I mean, I think straight away of that hole out at the bunker at 18 a few years ago now, but it's not like Rory's experience of Augusta National has been exclusively awful. There's some good vibes for him to draw on, right?
Oh, 100%. Like, yes, obviously 2011 is always going to be, in the back of his mind, but, he's had some great moments. He's had some phenomenal rounds as well. And I think he just needs to remember more of the good and what he's done, and really keep on that kind of positive train. And like Lewis was saying, take it one shot at a time and not get ahead of yourself. Because if you're in contention going into Sunday, and let's say you're leading by a couple strokes or a stroke, or maybe you're tied for the lead, one of your eyes is going to be on that green jacket, but you just need to make sure that you're just taking it one step at a time and not getting ahead of yourself, because as we've seen before, the wheels can come off if you do that.
Yes, certainly can. So answering the big question, is this going to be the year Rory wins the Masters? I think it's 3 yeses is what we're saying.
Yes.
Now, is that definitely all heads talking and not just hearts?
It is heads. He's playing the best golf on the planet right now. So that combined with the fact that the course suits him so well, I mean, there's heart involved there as well.
Yeah.
But I do think the head is telling me that this is Rory's year to win the Masters.
Good.
Yeah, I
Glad
agree
to hear
with
it.
that.
Glad to hear it. Producer Dex over in the corner. What do you think, Rory? Yes or no this year? Oh, he's got thumbs down.
Oh.
I should add, Dex is sitting in the studio live editing this because this episode is available to watch on YouTube as well. Probably should have said that at the outset. But yeah, if you are listening and you'd like to see this show, see how it's looking, and take in all of the really cool artifacts, memorabilia, and Masters bits and pieces, some, what's the word, Easter eggs, I guess, hidden behind us, then go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bunkered, and watch it. If you're there right now, hello, welcome. Hope you're enjoying the show. Dex in the corner is doing a phenomenal job, but he's the silent partner in all of this. And considering he just gave the thumbs down to Rory, I think he will remain that way. Moving on, other Masters storylines, gentlemen. Lewis, it's an obvious question, I guess, but what are you most interested in ahead of this year's Masters? What are you most looking forward to seeing outside of Rory and how he performs?
There's a lot of players I'm really interested to see how they get on. I put Jordan Spieth top of this list.
Jordan Spieth?
Yeah, I'm a big
What?
Spieth fan, but
Wow.
yeah.
So
like,
is this a curiosity about whether or not he wins, or is it a morbid curiosity about what sort of batshit
It's
stuff
a-
he's going to get up to?
yeah, precisely that. I mean,
Okay.
he's box office every time, but
Mhm.
he is coming into a bit of form. I'm not saying he's going to win the Masters this year, but there's morbid curiosity there in terms of what he's going to do around the course where, I mean, we've touched on good memories and bad memories with Rory. God, that is very much the case with Spieth as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, could this be the place for him to get back on form, like really on form?
If
I'm
not
interested
Augusta,
to
then
see it.
where, I
Yeah,
guess,
precisely. Yeah, interested in that. And Bryson as well. Look, you'd watch him play anywhere. He was incredible at the start of last year's Masters, and then it all went a bit Pete Tong. And yeah, really excited to see how he approaches the whole thing. Is he going to go all guns blazing, try and sort of overpower the golf course? What's going to happen there? So yeah, I'm excited for that as well.
Okay.
Mm.
James, what about you? Bryson, a fellow big hitter, is he someone that you're interested to see this year?
Yeah, I'm always interested to see what Bryson does because let's be honest, we never know what he's going to rock up with. Last year, he had a brand new set of irons, which only just.
Oh, God, that's right. I forgot all about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He had a brand new set of Avoda irons, which had only just passed the PGA and R&A conforming list literally last minute. So, yeah, I mean, there's rumors that he's actually been testing new irons as well in Miami. So who knows what he's going to bring to the Masters this week. But yeah, he's always one to watch. I think he was obviously up there last year, and I think he did play, well. I think there's maybe a couple of decisions which probably wasn't the smartest play, but Bryson is one of those guys, he'll die on the driver. That's just the way he is.
And he's won another major since then as well, let's not forget.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
He's
So
got that, one-time major winner monkey off his back. So there's that too. Which I don't know to what extent it's important, but it feels like it counts for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when you see the guys come across from Live and then play in the majors, you're always a little bit intrigued to kind of see how well they actually do. Like, is the type of golf they're playing in Live comparable to, and can they compete against the top guys in the PGA? I don't know. Like, it's always interesting to see. But there's two guys that stand out, and that's Bryson DeChambeau and Tyrrell Hatton. They always seem to come across and turn up.
Not Joaquin Neiman?
Well, Phil Mickelson's world number one pick.
I
mean,
Neiman's an interesting one for me because he's been given this special exemption by Augusta National Golf Club. They clearly rate him, and they certainly, if they don't necessarily rate him as a player, they certainly appreciate what he's been doing over the last 12 months. Whatever you think about Liv, you still have to play good golf to win.
Yeah.
And he has won more than any other player on Liv in the last year or so. So the only thing for me that is a question mark about Neiman is that his major record is absolutely honking. It's
shite.
It's rubbish, isn't it?
It's not great at all. I was looking at it and I was just kind of like, you look at his record at Augusta, not great.
It's terrible.
It's not great at all. And you're just kind of like, Phil, what were you thinking when you said that kind of thing?
I
It's
think that could be said
yeah.
for a lot of things that Phil
Yeah.
Nicholson has said, to be fair.
Valid.
It's not exclusive to Wacky
Yeah.
Neiman being the world number one.
No, but I think, like you said, you've got to play good golf to win golf
Yeah.
tournaments. Is his track record great at Augusta? No.
No, I mean, he's played 5
Well-
times, top 25 on 2 occasions, a best finish of tied 16th
That's
in
it.
2023. And to be honest, his major record generally isn't that great.
No.
No top 10s,
Mhm.
4 top 25s from 22 appearances. So for all that he plays well, he's won twice in the PGA Tour, 4 times on Live, he's won in the Asian Tour, he's won in the European Tour. For all that he's done all of those things, Lewis, this is a guy who's, I hate to say it, but is he at risk of becoming a bit of a flat track bully?
It's a curious one, isn't it? Because clearly he's an exceptionally talented player, but yeah, if he doesn't turn up in the majors, then people aren't going to remember him
Mhm.
in however many years' time. Yeah, it's bizarre. I think only he'll really know why that's happening, or maybe doesn't know why it's happening. But for someone of his talent, he should be doing better than what he is. I think his record at Augusta relative to the rest of the majors is actually decent. But yeah, for someone who's won, like you said, twice in the PGA Tour, gone 4 times in Live, twice this year, he's clearly playing really well, but he's just not been able to transfer that.
It's just not, you're right, it's not
Yeah.
it's not translating to the biggest stages.
Mhm.
Strange one.
He's-
You guys mentioned Tyrrell Hatton. For me,
Mhm.
I think he's one of the guys that is absolutely right there in the mix. If you look at the odds, I mean, he's I'm looking at the odds right now. He's quite a long way down.
Mm.
You know, guys that are above him, Neiman's above him, Matsuyama's above him, Justin Thomas is above him.
Get him
Is-
in each way
Yeah,
now.
Is Tyrrell Hatton maybe a little bit underrated, James?
Yes, I would say so. Going off of that massively, I think, like I said, it's like he always turns up in these big events when he comes across. Him and Bryson seem to be the two which really do kind of stand out to me. I don't know about you, Lewis, but I'm kind of
Mhm.
those are the two names that really kind of stick out to me. And he's always one of those guys which I think if there's anyone from Live that's going to be there, kind of in that kind of top 15, top 10, he's going to be one of those names.
I really like Tyrrell, but I don't think he has the mentality for Augusta National. And I also can tell that he doesn't like the golf course. I mean, he's made that clear.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of golf courses he doesn't like,
True.
but he probably comes
Has not
into
stopped
this.
him winning in golf courses that he doesn't
No,
like, though, has
that's
it?
true. I feel like Augusta National is probably one where you need to sort of embrace that you're going to get bad breaks quite a
Yeah.
lot, and that if you might hit a good putt and it might not go in, and somewhat getting frustrated with that is probably not going to help you. So
Yeah.
yeah, for me, like Hatton's a brilliant player, and I think you're right, he is somewhat underrated. But at Augusta National, I'm not sure it's quite the right fit for him.
Do you think his
Interesting.
temper? Do you think his temper is going to get the better of him? Do you think a little
It
bit? in
probably
that
will,
sense?
but
Yeah.
I'm not bothered by that because when Tyrrell runs hot, he wins. You
Very
know what I
true.
mean? I think this idea that golfers all have to have the same sort of temperament, the same mentality, and I guess, have this really even robotic keel at all times. This isn't a one size fits all sport.
Yeah.
John Ram is probably the perfect example of that. A guy who has notoriously run hot, lost his temper, thrown clubs, sworn, shouted, chuntered, and well, he's a 2-time major champion. So I
Yeah.
don't think it needs to be an obstacle. You need to channel it properly, of course, but
Mhm.
Tyrrell has played with probably the most volatile temper of any player on tour over
Yeah.
the last 10 years or whatever he's been out there, and has won rather a lot and had a lot of success. So why should it be any different at a major championship? I don't necessarily believe that it should.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We will see.
We will see.
what happens.
We will see what happens.
No significant golf course changes this year, which I think is unusual, Lewis, by Augusta National's recent standards. What do you think that says? If anything, is that a good thing, a bad thing? Is it a thing?
Yeah, I think for me, like some sense of continuity is probably good. They don't want to be making too many changes every year. I also think like there's been storm damage recently as
Yeah.
well, hasn't there? It's possibly if they had been planning to make changes, is that
Good point.
put that behind schedule possibly? I'm not sure if that is the case, but yeah, you don't want to be making the golf course longer every single year. I know it's gonna, the way the game's going, I get why they're doing that, but Yeah, I don't think it will. Don't think it will bother players. The golf course is long and challenging enough as it is. It's not like people are going and shooting like Century Championship numbers for the 30 odd under par. I don't think that's going to happen this year either.
No,
so
I should hope not.
Yeah, let's hope not.
No.
That's it.
And James, no Tiger Woods this time around.
Yeah.
Obviously, how big a blow is that for the tournament? Do you think?
I don't think it's as big a blow as what you might think. I think, yes, it's always nice to see Tiger play, but realistically, if he makes the cut, it's just going to go downhill because it's such a hard walk for him. We know he's not, very, very well. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, he's been held together by scaffolding in his legs. To be frank, but yeah, I think it's not a massive blow. Like I said, it's always nice to see him. It's nice to see him wearing that red on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But with him not really being in contention, and him not being fit and healthy, I just want to see Tiger playing in a tournament where he is like he says, he wants to be ready and be in a position to win. I'd rather see him in that kind of light, but obviously with his Achilles gone, we're not going to
actually away, is it? Yeah.
It's gone.
I know the operation was successful. I didn't realise it was a removal.
Like an appendix.
Yeah. Just taking it away, giving it to someone else. But yeah, with that injury he's got, like, wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully we'll see him back on the course soon. But with him not being there, I don't think
it's still going to be the Masters, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still the Masters. Still the Masters without him.
Excellent. Okay. Lewis, last one on Tiger before we move on. He seems to have discovered the login for his Twitter account, or somebody else has discovered the login for his Twitter account.
Someone's having fun, aren't they?
He's become really prolific.
Yeah.
And don't know about you, but I'm ready to turn off notifications. I had notifications on
so
because,
did I.
anytime that you want to be there with the story, and in our job, you want to be quick and reactive when news breaks. Because Tiger tweeted so sparingly when he did, it was usually to say something like, "I'm playing next week, I'm back, or I'm injured, I've had surgery." There was the occasional
April Fool's jokes. Tiger, stop.
There was the occasional promo for Sunday Red, but this tweet this week on April Fool's Day, everyone saw through it straight away. We all got the joke.
Yeah.
But he tweeted saying that, the great news, I've been sleeping in this special hyperbaric chamber. My doctors are delighted with the progress I've made, and I'm going to be playing at Augusta next week. And then 5 minutes later, P.S. April Fool's, haha.
Yeah.
What the hell? Where's this Tiger been for the last 30 years?
I don't like it. I want the mystique around Tiger. I don't want him to be making jokes on Twitter. That's not what we like him for. No.
He's enjoying them painkillers.
Apart from Max Daddy Santa, that was it. He should have stopped
with Max Daddy Santa.
Yeah.
Tiger's sole contribution to Masters Week would appear to be an April Fool's joke. What a time to be alive. There'll be more Masters chat in part 2. Before we go there, a new feature that we have rolled out on our social media channels in the last week or so. Remember, you can get us on, I keep calling it Twitter, X, whatever. Twitter.com/thebunkeredpod. So at thebunkeredpod if you want to get in touch with us. Our DMs are obviously open there as well. This new feature, it's pretty simple. I'm posing the answer to a question, and I want our followers to give the answer. Gents, you don't know what the answer is to this question necessarily as well, so I'll ask you for your take. But this week, if the answer is 150 to 1, what is the question? The answer is 150 to 1. What is the question? Stuart Ben Doris, what is 10 episodes of the quiz show hosted by Sandy Toxvid called? That is absolutely genius.
Brilliant.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Tremendous work. Robert Kirk, no one mentioning how hilly Augusta actually is. We've not done that yet. The odds and no one mentioning that.
James sort of touched on it with the long walk, and then we sort of
I
thought you were going to say it, and I thought I'd just let him carry on.
I saw you kind of half smile, and I started to smile.
I had to stop myself from going further.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
Duncan Esplin, what are the odds of McEwen not mentioning he's played Augusta National? I haven't done that either yet.
Well,
not
yet.
yet.
So, yeah.
There's still time.
There is still time. Eat and Sleep Golf asks, are they the odds that Phil stands up halfway through the champions dinner, says the food's rubbish, and that Joaquin Neiman could have put together a far better menu than Scotty?
Then the odds might be shorter than
Much
that.
shorter than that, to be fair. And Frank Fowley, what are the odds on Rory and Scotty being the final pair at the Masters and Rory winning the Masters with a hole-out eagle at the last. Frank, you have crept into my mind when I'm fast asleep, watched that dream and taken it to social media. Scary, Frank. Get out my head. But yes, no, gents, any ideas what the question might be if the answer's 150 to 1?
What are the odds on James turning up in trousers on the warmest day of the year, having worn shorts every single other day of the calendar year?
I mean, you've got trousers on today.
Yeah, mine's probably what are the chances of Lewis not throwing a hissy fit or complaining in a long car journey on the way
150 to 1, that long?
That's
You're both
too
wrong.
long.
You are both wrong. This is actually, it came from a press release last week from William Hill. Other bookies are available. Always gamble responsibly. When the fun stops.
Stop.
Correct, Lewis. Well done. These are the actual odds for Tiger Woods being the next US president.
Really? There you go.
150 to
Well,
1.
he's already got the
Jeez, oh.
stupid social media posts part nailed.
He's
so
also got the in with the family as
Yeah,
well now
very
that he's dating
Yeah,
Trump's
good point.
ex-daughter-in-law. So
Very
I
good
see,
point.
See what he's doing. He's trying to wangle his way in there.
eyes on the White House.
Mhm.
Yeah, there you
Tiger
go.
Woods wants the Oval Office.
No more green
That-
jacket. The Oval
It's not
Office
even
is
that
the next
ridiculous. It's not even that ridiculous to think that he could
That's
do
the
that.
thing. It's
Yeah.
not, is it? To
No.
me, 150 to 1 feels somewhat long.
Yeah, it does. Which
Stranger
is
things have
insane.
happened.
They have.
Anyway,
Might put a tenner on that.
William Hill will take that tenner. Do you know what happens
Mm.
if you put £10 on that?
I won't get it.
You lose £10,
Yeah.
James. That is it for part 1, ladies and gents. Do not go anywhere because in part 2, more Masters chat. We'll be looking at a couple of the players potentially bidding farewell to the tournament next week. We'll be talking about Bob McIntyre's title prospects, the live guys, who's going to fare best out of them. And yes, we will talk about the shamed golfer who's trading his orange jumpsuit for a green jacket next week. Should he be allowed to? That's coming up in part 2 of the Bunker Podcast.
Tee off with our exclusive Hot Eagle breaks at McDonald's Golf Hotels and Resorts, including Spey Valley Aviemore and Cardrona Resort in Peebles, both recent hosts of the Tartan Pro Tour, with stunning locations and a championship golf course featured at both 4-star hotels. One-night golf breaks from only £95 per person at Cardrona and £115 per person at Spey Valley. Be flexible on date and get the best rate, but be an early birdie. Limited spaces available. Search McDonald Hot Eagle breaks for more.
Welcome back, part 2 of this week's Bunkered podcast in association with Callaway. Michael, Lewis, and James all here if you're watching on YouTube. Hello, guys, wave to the camera.
Hello.
There
Hello
you go.
there.
Well done. If you're not, just forget the last 10
Yeah.
seconds happened. It's really not important. We are all about the Masters on this week's episode. So, as I mentioned in part 1, the email newsletter, that is the best way to make sure you don't miss a single thing from Augusta next week. Go to the Bunkered website, bunker.co.uk. You can sign up. I should add, for free there as well, and you will get a daily newsletter in your inbox right in time for you having your toast, your porridge, or in James's case, some sort of protein-based breakfast. I'll have all the latest headlines straight from the press building at Augusta National. You won't miss a single thing, I promise. Right, gentlemen.
Yes,
Let's
Mike.
carry on. Bernard Langer and potentially Fred Couples are going to be saying farewell to the Masters this week. In Bernard's case, it was meant to be last year. He didn't rupture his Achilles,
No.
not the same injury as Tiger. He did damage his Achilles,
Mhm.
Lewis. So his farewell has been delayed by 12 months.
Yes.
So he has said that he's going to bow out. Couples has hinted he might bow out.
Mhm.
It kind of feels to me like these past champs, these legends of the game, are saying farewell to the Masters much earlier than they used to. I think
Yeah.
back to, Gary Player was well into his 70s. Jack Nicklaus was well into his 70s.
Mhm.
Billy Casper, people like that. They
Yeah.
all milked it. didn't
Yeah.
they?
Quite right. So they should.
I would.
Yes.
I mean,
So would I.
absolutely. Why do you think it is that players are
Mm.
quitting earlier?
I think a long, difficult golf course could have something to do with it. We alluded to the fact that Augusta National are making the course longer for obvious reasons. That could be a part to play. This could not be, could be making this up, but is it possibly less fun for them
You
now
think so?
during the week. Possibly. You hear stories of back in sort of 80s and 90s on tour where things were a bit more relaxed. Maybe have like a few pints.
Oh, you think it's too serious now, potentially?
I don't think it's too serious, but maybe for someone who's, a past champion who maybe won the Masters 20 years ago and they're not. Langer doesn't fall into this category because he clearly still takes it very seriously and good on him. But someone who's maybe there and knows that they're not going to win, if it's not enjoyable for you anymore, are you going to do that? Maybe not. That could be a reason, but I think just the severity of the golf course and how long it has become for players who probably don't hit the ball that far has probably got a lot to do with it.
Seems to be the bigger deal, James, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you hear people like Ian Woosnam, who stopped playing a few years ago. He just said that it was simply too long a golf course for him, even at, I think, what was he, early 60s at that point, physically pretty fit. He was in pretty good shape. He just couldn't keep up any longer. And I think he found it demoralising to hit 3 woods into greens that he was previously hitting 6 or 5 iron.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, Bernard Langer actually said that as well. Like, the distance factor is, becoming, a lot for him. He's turned around and said, I'm hitting 2-3 irons in when guys are hitting like 9 irons. Like, that's a little bit like, oh God, like what am I doing? That would make me feel like, what the hell am I doing here? When
It's not a nice feeling.
no, it's not. It's like you got guys who are literally going to stick it probably about like 10 feet, and you're standing there with a 2 iron, hoping you're going to make the green. Yeah, that's just tough for anyone. So that's probably the main reason, and the big reason as well. I think it's just becoming too much for them.
Yeah. I don't see Augusta changing their policy, though. I don't see them saying,
definitely not.
you know what, we recognise that the course is now too long, that the competition's too fierce, that the challenge is too severe for these guys. I think they quite like the fact that, they treat their former champions particularly well, as well as they do. So
Rightly so.
I think, in my own opinion, I would quite like to see all major championships, the Masters and the Open, being the two biggest examples, introducing an upper age limit. I've said that for a while now, because as nice as it is to see the elder statesmen, the great champions of the game, continuing to play well past traditional retirement age, it's a tough watch. There's no pleasure to be gained from seeing guys scuttling balls that they used to flush.
Yeah.
So I think for their own benefit, it would be good if there was an upper age limit.
Mm-hmm.
I know that not everyone agrees, but listen, there's a reason that only 2 people, I think maybe in fact no, only 1 player, being Phil, has ever won a major championship after turning 50. It's because it's bloody tough to do. So if you're not competitive, if you're not going to win, why are you there?
It's a good point. I think upper age limits for this, I suppose for other events, it's maybe in there because there's a set limit on the field. It's not the case at the Masters. There's around 100 players, and if that is 90 players, then Augusta National aren't bothered about that. If it's 120, they're not that bothered either.
Yeah.
But I think, the thing with an upper age limit is, for Langer is a good example of this. Last year he's not able to play, and if he'd say gone over the threshold by a year, he wouldn't be able to get the send off that he's going to have this time around. So it sort of presents difficulties in that case. So I don't have an issue with it. I think from what I can gather, like, players don't kind of take the mick with it and stay beyond the welcome for the most part. So if you know when the right time to sort of say, this is it for me, then I don't have a massive problem with it.
Agree.
Let's face it, there's going to be guys that aren't going to do that, though.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Danny Willett is going to be playing when he's 82 years old, isn't he? And you know what? I wouldn't blame him.
No.
Why not, Danny? Make the most of it.
Absolutely.
James, let's talk about Bob McIntyre. Listen, we're all Scots, including you, even though you're from St Andrews and your accent would suggest you're not.
Hey, come on.
But we'd obviously love to see Bob McIntyre get the job done. We haven't had a Scottish winner of the Masters since Sandy Lyle in 88. We haven't had a men's Scottish major champion since Paul Lawrie in 99. The last Scottish major champion of any description out with the seniors was, of course, Katrina Matthew. And even then, you're going back the guts of 15, 16 years. So we're due a winner. And
100%.
Bob, it looks like the most likely one to deliver that in either the men's or women's games. But for me, I think he's also the most likely to do it or if he's going to, the major he's most likely to do it at is this one. The Masters feels to me like it sets up pretty well for him. You share
Yeah.
my optimism?
I do share your optimism.
Good.
I think, Bob's definitely solidified himself on the PGA Tour. He's definitely settled in. Obviously, 2 wins last year, a couple top 10s this year as well. Looks like he's playing some good stuff. And as we know, the Masters is set up quite nicely for left-handers as well, as a lot of people say. Mr. McGinley, for example, when I was sitting there, when Ben was interviewing him, was like, he said Bob McIntyre, left-handers at Augusta typically do quite well.
But why is that? I mean, what's the reasoning behind that?
A lot of shots where I think the guys have to move it from right to left, and it's easier for a left-hander to move it from right to left because that's a fade and not a draw. So you can talk to a fade, but you can't talk to a draw, as they say. So I think for Bob, he's got every chance, and I think the form that he's obviously proving and showing in the States on the PGA Tour is he's got the best chance out of anyone from Scotland, and obviously since Rory.
Yeah,
to win
not
a
just
major.
form in the States, Lewis, but also form in the Masters as well. He didn't play last year, but he has played it a couple times before and shown up pretty well both times.
Yeah, well, he's tied 12th in his debut,
Yeah.
which is really impressive. And then after that, he was tied 20 something, can't remember exactly. So clearly, there's something about the place that he relishes. He seems to, whenever he gets there, it seems to really enjoy. I think some players maybe get overawed by it a little bit. Clearly, Bob's not like that. So yeah, he's got form for it. He's, his, I wouldn't say Achilles heel, but if there was a part of his game that he maybe struggled with, it's his putting. He seems to putt well on the greens at Augusta National. There's something about them that he really likes. He seems to have settled in a putter recently as well, which is
It's got a
great.
very deliberate routine as well, this whole holding the shoulder business. And it maybe looks a bit tortured,
Possibly.
but as you say, it is working for him.
It works at Augusta National. Like the 2 times he's been there, he's putted better than what he usually does. So combine that with a good long game as well, then yeah, I think he's in the bracket of players that you wouldn't be massively shocked if they did go and win it. There's obviously, you've got Rory, Scotty, sort of 5 or 6 favourites. Bob's certainly just behind them, Also, another note on him, so he's got a club in his bag at the moment that he had when he first turned professional.
Oh, go on.
Which is an Aero Burner 3-wood. You'll like this, James. So I actually watched.
That's ancient.
That is ancient. He's sort of gone back and forth with it. He struggled with having a 3-wood in the bag for a while. And recently he's gone back to this, and clearly it's working for him. That is a proper Old Faithful in the bag.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I just Googled it. And now I remember it.
Yeah.
That is, what we talking, 10, 12 years old?
More, at least, like 15 probably.
Goodness me. Has he said anything about why he's put that back in?
He's spoken about it in the past, about how it's just something that he's really comfortable with.
Right.
And, it's hard for players to find a 3-wood that works, because if it goes just as long as the driver, then it sort of doesn't really have a place in the bag.
Yeah.
He clearly just feels really comfortable with it. If there's maybe a tight tee shot or needs this could definitely be the case at Augusta National, needs something to hit into a par 5.
Yep.
If this is going to give him an easy club to hit, then why not? If it's old, then who cares? It works.
I'm really excited to see Bob. I'm also hopeful that his increased profile now, I think as you guys both said, he's much more established than he was when he first played. I was there for his first proper practice round at Augusta National in the Masters in, when are we talking, 2022, I think it was. And I was there on the Tuesday, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to follow Bob around for a few holes. It might even have been the Monday. Anyway, we are on the 17th, and I'm walking up the rope line next to the trees, and there's this old American couple that, honestly, I swear they were so old, they looked like they'd been knitted. And they were just obviously perched there. That was their spot for the rest of the week. There's maybe a little memorial marker there for them now, because it has been a few years. But they were there anyway, and I thought, I'll just stand next to them. And as Bob was walking up, I heard the woman say, "Who's that coming up now?" And the old boy's got his binoculars.
Oh, yeah.
And if you remember, Bob had rather a lot of sponsors logos on his bag at that time. Still does, but
so he should.
I'm not sure if this one's still there. But the old boy's looking through the binoculars, looks and goes, obviously sees Bob, doesn't know who he is, then looks to the bag and goes, I think it's Arnold Clark. Which, for those who don't know, it's a very popular car dealership in Scotland. If he just raised his binoculars a little bit, he would have seen Robert McIntyre.
That is brilliant.
Yes, Arnold Clark played very well in his Masters debut.
Sponsor's dream right there.
Oh,
Fantastic.
100%. Yeah. So, no, I don't think anyone will be mistaking his identity this time around.
That's fantastic.
Quick line on the live, guys. We've spoken, obviously, about Tyrrell Hatton, Bryson DeChambeau. Gents, any other live player that stands out for you as one to watch?
I mean, John Ram, we can't
Oh,
discount, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that won 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Him.
It's funny, though, isn't it? I mean,
that is funny,
I've completely forgotten that he was... I wasn't going to mention him in this show until you just said it, which kind of shows how out of sight and out of mind.
You're right. It's strange. He's not even playing that badly in live, but a little bit of an unknown quantity in what we're going to get from him, I suppose. Also, Cam Smith. Like, he putts so well. If he can just get the ball, you know, in play and on the green a reasonable amount of shots, then he's going to putt better than most of the field. So can't
Good
discount.
Augusta record as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Cam Smith and John Ram for me.
Okay. James, anyone else to add into that mix?
Absolutely not.
Not even Brooks Koepka?
I just think with Brooks, I think he is, as we all know, he's like, I'm just here for the majors. Well, he's not. He's in live now. So I think with him, it's so hard to know how he's going to play or what he's going to deliver. But I think, obviously, Cam Smith for me stands out because, like we said, he is a very, very good putter.
Yeah.
And if, as we know, if you hit greens at Augusta and putt well, you're going to be thereabouts. So for me, Cam Smith, I think is a good one to look out for, as well as Bryson and Tyrrell.
Very good. Right, one name that we haven't discussed so far, I think he's going to come up rather a lot in the next week, is Angel Cabrera. The 2009 champion is making his first Masters appearance since he spent 30 months in jail after being convicted of various assault charges against multiple former partners. So Cabrera hasn't been there for a couple of years. He got released last year. Visa issues were the big thing holding him back. They appear to have been resolved, and by all accounts, well, he's in the field. I assume he's going to be at the Champions Dinner. It's unfair to say, gents, what do you think? I'm going to tell you exactly what I think on this one, and you can tell me if you agree or not, and see if you disagree. It's totally fine. Angel Cabrera has absolutely no right being anywhere near the Masters tournament. Now, I accept that he won the tournament in 2009, and with that came a lot of perks, a lot of privileges, as we know, one of which is a lifetime exemption to play in the tournament. However, I have an absolutely massive problem with somebody who's been convicted of the type of crimes he was convicted of against women, particularly, being invited straight back. You know, that they're probably still tidying up the jail cell. I mean, it's relatively recent since he was released. Being invited straight back and welcomed with open arms by Augusta National. This isn't necessarily Cabrera's fault around the invite. Everything else is his fault. But I do think Augusta National should have pulled that rug from under his feet and said, you know what? Some things we can't accept. Somewhere we need to draw the line. Because here's the really fascinating part, right? You can get a lifetime ban from Augusta National for guerrilla marketing, like Gary Player's son did, on the first tee for the honorary starter ceremony a couple of years ago. He was showing off that, I can't even remember the name of the golf ball brand, but he was showing off a sleeve of golf balls. The club took such a dim view of it that Wayne Player got sin-died by Augusta National. So why is it that you can get banned for guerrilla marketing, but welcome back after serving time in jail for assaulting women? I can't get my head around that. I also think it's a rare misstep by Augusta National Golf Club, who have made so many brilliant progressive strides in recent years. We all know about its complicated history, and in particular, its complicated history with women. It took a very long time before it even allowed women to become golf club members. It fixed that. It changed its ways. It mended a break. It then introduced the Augusta National Women's Amateur in 2019, when calls were starting to grow for a women's Masters. It went one better. It said, you know what? We'll bring the best female amateurs who nobody knows. We'll let them play on the golf course. All these great steps taken. And for me, I feel they've undone a lot of that good work by allowing Cabrera back. Now, a lot of people are listening to this right now. I'm certain of it. I'm absolutely certain you're listening to this and going, he served his time. What's the problem? Let me be absolutely clear on this. Serving your time entitles you to be released from jail. Nothing else, okay? If we had done what Cabrera had done, and I feel queasy even saying that because it's just so awful what he did. If we had done that, do you really think that our company would let us walk straight back in? Of course it wouldn't.
No.
And if you're asking that question right now, I bet your company wouldn't let you back in. And yet, Angel Cabrera is allowed to walk straight up Magnolia Lane into the clubhouse, stick on his green jacket, sit down for dinner with all these other past champions, play on one of the biggest stages in the game, and what? Get applause from the galleries? The whole thing makes me sick. I make no apologies for how I feel about it. I think it's totally wrong. I'm frankly disgusted by it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stop because now I feel like I'm starting to rant.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you.
I completely agree. Yeah, there's not much else I can add. You're right. And the sad thing is, this is an invitational tournament.
Exactly.
It could have been, if Angel hadn't been invited, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. There's people out there who are scared of him, and he's
Correct.
been invited to play in one of the most prestigious, probably the most prestigious golf tournament on the planet. Sad. And yeah, I just wish he wasn't a part of it.
Yeah. It was put to me because I sort of chanted about this on social media last weekend and got a little bit of bite back. Some of the points made are perfectly reasonable. Somebody said to me, consider your football allegiances. Duncan Ferguson was obviously jailed for assault on a football pitch many, many years ago. What should he not be allowed to resume his career? I mean, it's hard to have that conversation on Twitter, so let me elaborate here. Point is, Duncan Ferguson served time for assault on a fellow player. He headbutted the guy. It was a one-off incident. It should never have happened. It's inexcusable. But he served his time, and his punishment was significantly less. It's not like he served 30 months in jail for it. It's not like that was his sentence either. He didn't assault an ex-girlfriend. He didn't assault multiple ex-girlfriends. It's totally different. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even though the conviction might look the same, assault, the circumstances are totally different. So I can't and won't compare it, frankly.
You shouldn't be allowed on the property. You shouldn't even be able to even look down Magnolia Lane. I think he shouldn't be able to wear his green jacket again.
Yeah, totally with you.
I think what he's done is just, like you said, it's inexcusable. Like, I think he should maybe even be stripped of his... I mean, obviously, yes, he won like the Masters, great, but like he should be stripped of his invitation and never allowed back.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Like, you shouldn't have someone walking around on the property that's done something like that.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely
in a
agree.
million years.
Absolutely agree. And again, some people say, where are you going to draw the line? Listen, that's for the club to decide, and kind of looks like they have decided. He's a past champion, therefore he's welcome. Under all circumstances. So I don't even want to dignify the guy with much further conversation.
No.
You can disagree. Anyone listening, you're perfectly entitled to disagree and think that he should be there. I get it. I understand. I just will never, ever be brought round to that argument, I'm afraid.
It's going to be such an awkward dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
Hopefully he gets served a massive portion of cold shoulder, because that's all he deserves. Right, let's move on to Podder of Merit. Let's get right down to the business end of this, gentlemen. So, quickly recap the Texas Children's Houston Open. Last week, Lewis, you got dibs. You went with Aaron Rye.
good shout, mate.
Did the weekend off, missed cut.
Yeah, I know that.
Two
Yes.
gloves, no weekend action. I went with Alex Smalley.
Good shout, Michael.
Missed the cut. Thanks, Alex. James, you picked Eric Cole. Tied 15th.
Great shout.
Decent shout.
Yeah,
Let's
well done.
We can't just be throwing out the word great for a tied 15th finish. We're a knowledgeable Scottish golfing audience. We don't applaud just that.
It's fine. You
Knowledgeable
guys are meant to be
crowds.
knowledgeable
well
as well,
known.
and you both missed the cut. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
Whatever.
well,
2 points for you, James. So that takes the standings to James 4, Lewis 3, Michael 1. This week, gentlemen, it is the Masters, as we know.
Mhm.
James, you get first dibs, then Lewis, it's over to you, and then it's yours truly.
Excellent.
I wonder who I'm going to choose.
Let's hear it.
Rory McIlroy.
Well, you can't exactly say you think he's going to win and then not pick him.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, I think, look.
Unless that's like a bluff along the lines of, oh, my elbow's sore.
Well, that'll be the excuse if he loses.
So it's already made for you, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect. No, Rory McIlroy, let's be honest, we spoke about him at the start. He's in great form. He's number one in strokes gained, and he's playing incredible golf this year already. He's the man to beat going into Augusta, and I just hope he delivers what we all want him to obviously achieve.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be great.
Okay. Rory's gone, Lewis. Who you
Damn
having?
it. Yeah, I'm going down my list. And a man who I'm surprised we've actually not mentioned too much.
Don't
yet.
you dare.
I'm taking him, Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, no, that's fine.
All
That's
right,
He's
okay.
already chosen.
The defending champion, we've barely spoken about.
I know,
Yeah.
which is bizarre. Do I think he'll win? No, I think Rory's going to win. And I think it's, Scotty, if he was to win, it would be, 3 of the last 4, which is
Yes.
remarkable.
That's okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's quite good.
that's pretty good going. I mean, even 2 of the last 4 would be pretty good. So
Yeah.
there's 2 of the last 3 at the moment. Look, he's such a consistent performer.
Yeah.
Done so well around the golf course. I don't think I need to explain too much why I'm picking him. The
Well,
only,
number one.
the
It's
main
quite good.
reason I'm picking him
And
is
played
because
pretty well in Houston as well.
he
It's been a
signs.
slow start to the year, but that was encouraging. for him.
Yeah, he had a 62 there where
Mhm.
everything seemed to click. So
He's not playing badly. That's the thing.
No.
He's just not playing as well as he did last year.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's not
that's
come out flying.
not
if
even
he was going to
slightly
do that
sustainable.
every
Yeah,
year, then
exactly.
it would be not sustainable.
Just call
as you
off
say.
golf, frankly,
Yeah,
if he's
pretty
going to do that.
much.
Exactly.
Okay,
Go
so
on then.
Rory and Scott, you've gone. So
Sorry.
I'm interested to see who
I-
you pick here.
I'm going to pick a guy who's played in the Masters once before.
Right.
Made his debut last year and finished second.
Yeah.
Ludwig Oberg.
Okay.
What more is there to say about this guy? I
Very
genuinely,
impressive.
I think he's unbelievable. I mean, he's made 4 major starts now. Missed the cut in 2, fine. Tied 12th at the US Open last year, but second at the Masters. There's something about that can't be ignored. That's not fluke. You don't show up and fluke a good result at Augusta. Everybody knows, and we've all spoken at great length about how it's a golf course that you really need to take time to get to know and learn where the good misses are. He made one terrible mistake last year, which was taken on the 11th.
Mm.
And instead of bailing outright,
Mhm.
decided to go at the flag, dunked it. There went his chances. Had that not happened, and I know that's hindsight being 2020, but I think Scotty Scheffler would have been made to work really hard for that
Yeah.
win. So just so impressed with his debut, the way that the course seemed to suit him straight away, how unfazed he was. Bear in mind, it was his major debut, never mind his Masters debut. This kid's just absolutely built for stardom. Worth noting as well that he's taken Tiger's press conference slot.
Has he really? There
Tuesday,
you go.
11
Really?
a.m. has
Yeah.
always been reserved for T. Woods. L. Oberg has
Big-
now got that slot
Big
this
shoes
year.
to fill.
Massive shoes, but I also think it's important that he's won already this year. Genesis Invitational,
Yeah.
a really impressive win. I love the guy. I think he's incredible.
We can tell.
Yeah, yeah. I like his clobber as well. That new
Yeah, really
Adidas
cool.
gear that they've decked him out in looks tremendous.
Yeah.
Going to look even better when he's putting the green jacket on top of it.
There
So
you go. You've changed your tune.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I'm asking for anything, it's a Rory win.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I was about to say.
I think, honestly, for me, it would be Rory winning or Bob winning
Mm.
and then Oberg winning. That anything else, I
So,
couldn't
a
really care less
European.
about.
A European winning.
Not just any old European, though. One of those 3
One of those
specifically.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if name another European, if Victor Hovland wins, yeah, it'd be nice.
Mhm.
So
Nah,
Yeah,
it's not the same.
be
is it?
nice.
You're
I'm
right.
not exactly going to jump around and celebrate.
Yeah,
but for
true.
those 3, I think there would be tears in the media centre if any of them
Wow.
won.
Okay.
So
There we
we'll
go.
see. Particularly if Oberg wins and I get the 3 points.
Oh,
for it.
yeah. That's the
Yeah.
main criteria here.
It's all about the podder.
Yes.
No
Oh.
time for Bear Lies this week, I'm afraid, because it's the Masters preview. We've gone way over budget on time. Bear Lies will be back next week. If you're not sure where that is, go back and listen to last week's episode. It's always great fun. And remember, you too can get involved in it. So, as I said, our DMs are open. Please get in touch if you want to be part of Bear Lies in an upcoming episode. Remember, next week, all week, every single day from Augusta National, there will be open commute podcasts, 20, 30 minutes every single morning, waiting for you for your drive to work or your jog or taking the dog out for a walk, walking back from having dropped the kids at their schools, or just generally skiving from work, listening to good content to get you in the mood.
I'll be listening.
You're working next week, James.
Yeah, I know.
Don't say that after I've said about skiving. God. So yes, episodes every single day next week from Tuesday right through until, well, might even do one for you on the Sunday night, depending on to what extent I want to celebrate Rory's victory. Remember, get involved in the website, bunker.co.uk. Follow us on all the usual social media platforms. Sign up for that email newsletter. You will not regret it. It won't cost you a penny. But above all, enjoy the 89th Masters Tournament. Lewis, James, thank you both very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I look
And thank
forward
you.
to seeing what you guys have to make of it next week.
Can't
It's
wait.
always a special event, isn't it? But
Yes.
yeah, more importantly to you guys and to Callaway, as ever, thanks for your continued support. To you all watching, one of the best weeks in the sporting calendar is finally upon us. As Jim Nantz said right at the very start, hello friends, I will say goodbye friends and enjoy the tournament. Until next time, it's bye-bye for now.